When a congressman began reading names one by one from an official FBI file, and the FBI director froze at the podium, unable to utter a single word, what happened was not just an ordinary moment of embarrassment. It was the collapse of a system, and today you will witness it in real time. Because 3 minutes ago, Thomas Massie did something that forced Washington to answer questions it had avoided for years. He read a list from the file in his hand: a Hollywood producer, a royal prince, 6 billionaires. And with each name read, Kash Patel's face changed. His lawyers whispered in panic. And in that moment, everyone understood. There are truly powerful names in these files, and the FBI is protecting them. Watch this video to the end because you'll see the list Massie read and Patel's frozen moment. If you're new to this channel, subscribe now and turn on notifications, because this story is just the beginning, and bigger revelations could come in the next 72 hours. Let me set the scene because context is critical here. Wednesday afternoon, September 17th, 2025, House Judiciary Committee. It was supposed to be a routine oversight hearing, but Thomas Massie had a file in his hand, thick, red, with colored tabs. And in that file was what the FBI had been hiding for years: names. The names of the men Jeffrey Epstein sold his victims to. For those unfamiliar with Thomas Massie, let me explain. This man thinks before he speaks. He's an MIT graduate, an engineer, a libertarian. They call him Mr. No because he says no to anything that doesn't fit his logic. It doesn't matter which party it comes from. Even his own party gets annoyed with him. But Massie has one trait. He never comes unprepared. He already knows the answers to the questions he's going to ask. And today, with that file in his hand, he was going to corner Patel. The first 45 minutes passed normally. Other representatives asked their questions: cybersecurity, Chinese threats, domestic terrorism. Patel answered comfortably. His lawyers weren't even taking notes. The FBI agents behind him looked bored. Then it was Massie's turn. The atmosphere in the room changed. Everyone knew. When Massie arrived, things got serious. "Mr. Chairman," Massie said, "I want to put 4 documents on the record." First document: Jeffrey Epstein's sick story was played out openly for years. Former Labor Secretary Alex Acosta's words are here. "I was told Epstein was an asset to intelligence and should be left alone." Second document: warning about Epstein's protections, CIA connections. Third document: from Fox Digital. Epstein's private calendar reveals meetings planned with Obama administration officials and the CIA chief. Fourth document: Wall Street Journal. Ehud Barak's 36 meetings with Epstein, Israel's former prime minister and head of military intelligence. The room fell silent. Massie hadn't even asked his main question yet, but everyone knew it was coming. "Director Patel," Massie said, opening his file, "yesterday in the Senate, Senator Kennedy asked you, who, if anyone, did Epstein sell these women to? What was your answer?" Patel answered quickly, very quickly, as if he had memorized it. "To himself. There is no reliable information about him selling them to anyone else. If there were, I would have filed charges yesterday." Massie paused. He adjusted his glasses and smiled, a cold smile. "Interesting," he said. "Because I have something to tell you, Director. That information exists." Patel's face changed, slightly, but it changed. Massie continued. "You said the 2006 to 2007 investigation was limited. You said Alex Acosta's deal ruined everything. True, but those limitations only apply to the Southern District of Florida. Not the Southern District of New York. That's where the 2019 sex trafficking case was filed. And that case produced a lot of things, including the FD 302 documents. The room grew even quieter. FD 302, FBI interview summaries, official records. According to the statements of victims who cooperated with the FBI in this investigation, Massie said, raising his voice, these documents in the FBI's possession, the documents you have, contain details on at least 20 men. Patel leaned forward. His lawyers went into alarm mode. Massie began reading the list, and every word was like a bomb. The men who bought Jeffrey Epstein's victims, including Barclays Bank CEO Jess Staley, including underage victims like Virginia Roberts Giuffre. May they rest in peace. Massie paused. He became emotional for a moment when he mentioned the victim's name. Then he continued. There are at least 19 more people on that list. Then he read the categories one by one. A Hollywood producer, worth several $100 million. The room was silent. The journalists didn't even make a sound with their pens. A royal prince. The camera zoomed in on Patel. His face was bright red. A high-profile figure in the music industry. A very important banker. A high-profile government official. At this point, the Democrats stood up. Even the Republicans were shocked. A high-profile former politician. The owner of a car company in Italy. A rock star. A magician. At least 6 billionaires, including a Canadian billionaire. Massie closed the file. He looked at Patel. We know these people are in the FBI files, in the files you control. I don't know exactly who they are, but the FBI does. Then he asked the critical question. Have you launched an investigation against any of these people? Silence. 20 seconds. Live on air. 20 seconds of silence. Patel was frozen. He opened his mouth, but no words came out. He looked at his lawyers. They were looking at each other. The FBI agents behind him were whispering. Massie waited, patiently, because he knew. Every second of silence was a confession. Finally, Patel spoke. His voice cracked. Sir, I asked my FBI agents to review all the Epstein files and bring me reliable information. Massie jumped on it immediately. Reliable information? Are you implying that these victims are not reliable? That the 302s did not produce reliable statements? Patel. That is not my claim, sir. Massie. Then whose claim is it? Patel. 2 different U.S. attorneys' offices, 3 separate administrations. They reviewed the same materials. Massie leaned forward. So these FD 302 documents are in the FBI's possession? Patel. Yes. Massie. Have you seen these documents? The documents where the victims name who abused them? Patel. I personally don't know, but the FBI did. And that's when the bomb dropped. Massie raised his voice. How can you sit before the Senate and say no names when you haven't even read the files yourself? Patel couldn't respond. Massie continued. Director, I named a Hollywood producer. I said the name of a royal prince. I said the names of 6 billionaires. These are in your FBI files. And you tell me there's no credible information? Now hold on a minute, because this moment is critical. Massie is accusing the FBI director, live on air, of not reading his own files. And Patel can't respond. If you've watched this far, please like it. This video needs to reach more people. And write your thoughts in the comments. Who do you think are the names on that list? Massie wasn't done yet. Director Patel, were you present at that event at the White House hosted by the Attorney General? The event where he distributed the Epstein files to social media influencers? Patel. Yes, I was there. Massie. So you're willing to meet with social media influencers, people who will exploit the tragic stories of these victims. But will you meet with the victims themselves? The question hung in the air. No one was breathing. Patel. The FBI will meet with everyone who has information. Massie. Will you personally meet with them? Patel. The FBI and professionals handling the cases will meet with them. Massie. You didn't answer. I asked, will you personally meet with them? Patel couldn't answer, because the answer was obvious, no. The FBI director would not meet with Epstein's victims, but he would meet with influencers. He would show them the files, but he would not deliver justice. Massie asked another question. Were you instructed to send these documents to the Oversight Committee on the day I filed my discharge petition? The petition to release the Epstein files? Patel. I don't know what day that was. Massie. You don't know? Well, let me tell you. It was sent that same day, and it was sent so hastily that the victims' names weren't redacted. The victims are not happy about that, Director. Patel couldn't say anything. Massie asked his final question, and this question was perhaps the most important one. Did you investigate the CIA connections? Have you seen Jeffrey Epstein's CIA file? And if you want to see it, will they show it to you? Patel answered very carefully, very carefully. I can speak on behalf of the FBI. Hypothetically, there is a CIA file, and I've reviewed everything provided to the FBI interagency. Massie. So are you willing to look at the CIA's file on Jeffrey Epstein, if such a file exists? Patel. If such a file exists and has not yet been provided to the FBI will look into any new investigative leads. Note, if there is, if it hasn't been handed over, conditional, uncertain, non-committal. Massie understood. He wasn't going to get an answer. Thank you, my time is up. And just like that, in 5 minutes, Thomas Massie dismantled a narrative that had been built up over months. The Epstein worked alone narrative, the no names narrative, the no reliable information narrative, all lies. The files had names, 20 names, a Hollywood producer, a royal prince, 6 billionaires. They were all there. The FBI knew, Patel knew, but no one was investigating.